Hey everybody, thanks for coming back and watching another video. This one is going to be the installation of the Bwoody shock relocation brackets in the rear, as well as the Viking double adjustable shocks, part number D220. So let's get into it. So I have the two brackets, the shock relocation brackets from Bwoody. This is the passenger side and this is the driver's side. I've seen a couple of Facebook posts and mentions about guys breaking the shock mounting locations, the factory shock mounting locations with these, and I don't know exactly what's going on. I know that looking in those pictures and seeing the way some of the shocks are set up, I wonder if the shocks are the proper length. It also looks like there's a lot of rust and corrosion in those mounting locations, and so I wonder if that plays a part too. But just to be safe and just to be sure that I'm not going to run into any issues, like a lot of other things I do, I modified these. So what I did is I actually added a couple of pieces to weld to the frame. So as an example, this is your driver's side. And so looking at it from how it attaches to the truck, so the front of the truck is on this side over here, and the shock used to bolt here, and now the shock is going to bolt here like this. And so and this is looking into the wheel well, so this piece here will actually weld to the frame. So I will slip this in and put it up into place. I won't torque anything down, but I'll put it in, get it in the right spot, and then weld this piece to the frame, torque this, and then that way I now have multiple points of connection and make it all nice and snug. And then this is the same way. This is now looking into the wheel well from the passenger side. So this is the front of the vehicle and this is the rear. And so this will bolt into place. There's also a bolt that goes through the stock mounting point. So I'll put that nut in there and snug that stuff up, and then again make my weld to my frame and then torque that stuff down. So I've taken several measurements, and I've already welded this one, and I haven't done that last test fit yet, so let's see what it looks like. Here's the passenger side, just snugged into place, not tight. Actually, I don't even have the nut on this bolt here, but then you can see there. So I'll just draw an outline on the frame there so I know where to clean the paint off, and then I'll weld it up, and then I'll shoot it with some paint. And here's the driver's side. Got a bolt stuck in it. Got my bracket set where it needs to be. And then, so I got my spot there. Looks like I've cleared any factory welds, so I can weld that one up as well. All right, so I chose the Viking Warrior D220 double adjustable shocks, and here's how I selected them. So with my current suspension setup, the vehicle on the ground, underweight, with a little over half a tank of fuel in it, the shock length
with the new relocation brackets installed would be 17.75 inches total. So looking at the application guide, the stock ride height for the D220s would be the right one for me. I'm a little on the higher end of this 16.5/8 to 18.25. But again, this was with no one in the vehicle and a half tank of fuel. So if I end up filling up or traveling with family or whatever, the ride height would fall much better inside this versus going to the D216, which is 18 3/8 to 20.25. The other thing is that with the suspension completely compressed, if I had a bunch of weight in the bed of the truck or go over a hard bump and the truck bottoms out, it's going to bottom out and the length is going to be somewhere between 14.5 and 15 inches. And I feel like that's really too close on the compression height of tearing up that shock, bottoming out that shock. Whereas the 220 is a little bit shorter. So I ultimately decided on the 220 due to the ride height and the compressed height.
Okay, it's been a few weeks, but finally got the Viking D220 shocks for the rear. So double adjustable. Comes with two different diameter collars to fit the proper size bolt. So now that I have the shocks and of course I have my brackets, I'll go ahead and bolt them in. All right, I massaged these to make clearance for the shock, and then when you put the bolt in, there's a gap there. So I went and grabbed some washers. Looks like 3 of these really fat washers would be pretty snug. Might just go with 2 of these fat washers, but I'll get rid of that end plate so that thing doesn't rock back and forth. The shock naturally wants to sit to the inside of the shock mount. So I'm not gonna bind it and try to make it come the other way because it slides in just nice. It just needs a little help filling up the gap. So use 2 large washers and 1 small washer, and I'm ready to tighten up. Thanks again for watching. The installation went pretty good overall. I took the vehicle out for a drive last night on a 2 compression, 4 rebound setting per the Viking instructions, and it feels pretty close to stock. So I might soften it to a 1.3 or a 1.2 just to see what it feels like, but I think from a driving on the road perspective, the shocks are good. I'm happy with them. So still waiting on tires. I just sent an email off checking on the status of the Mickey Thompsons. I'm going to get the new wheels ceramic coated at It's a Wrap Auto near me. And I'm also talking to a shop about getting the rear differential axle tubes welded so that I can be prepared for this next step. Again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.